Figure It Out podcast. Living that marketing life. Fuel marketing through education, inspiration, and motivation. Thank you for listening. If you like this episode or any other episodes, suggest it to someone who may enjoy it as well. Here is your host, Frankie Enzi.
What's up, listeners? Thank you for listening to the Figure It Out podcast. Today's guest is an old friend. He's been living in Vietnam for the last 3.5 years. He's an online business owner / digital marketer. Born in the US, lived on 3 different continents, traveled to 25 countries, passion for seeing the world and showing others another way to live using their laptop and the power of social media. Let me introduce Vince Reed. Welcome to the Figure It Out podcast. Vincent Reed from Vietnam. What's up, Vince?
Frank, what's going on, man? Thank you for having me. I'm excited for the next 45 minutes, man. Let's get into it, man. I'm excited to be here.
Cool. So tell us how you ended up, we'll tell everyone how we met. First, you came to come teach in Hangzhou, China, where I was teaching, and then you became a teacher. Then we became roommates. Then we became friends, and now here we are. So pretty excited for that.
Yeah, this was back in 2012. I went over there to teach English. I was fresh out of university. I think you'd been there for already a year or two, and you were kind of a veteran. You knew what was going on, and I had no idea what I was doing. First time in Asia. We lived together for about 7 months, and great experience. That kind of gave me the bug for Asia. So I'm thankful for that experience. I'm thankful for meeting you, man. Who knew that almost 10 years, 8 years later, man, we'd be sitting here having a completely different discussion about life and everything, man. It's kind of wild, man. What happened?
Yeah, man. It's cool that we kept in touch because it shows true friendship. So, no, man. I'm happy to be here. So I'm excited to do this podcast with you. So let's get into it. So so now you're living in Hanoi, right? Is it Hanoi? Or Hanoi, Vietnam?
It's Hanoi, yeah, the capital of Vietnam, Hanoi.
What's that?
Man, it's been incredible, man. I've been here for 3.5 years. And again, I came in as an English teacher 3.5 years ago. I knew what China was like, so I knew I wanted to come back to Asia at some point. And I heard so many great things about Vietnam. And I just thought, why not? I knew I could teach. I knew I could handle this lifestyle. I knew I could go over here on my own and make it, and I just thought, why not? And 3.5 years later, here I am, still here in the capital, still working as a teacher. I've gone down a different path as far as entrepreneurship, but I know we'll touch on that in a little bit. But man, I love it, man. Vietnam, you've been down here, it's just a totally different vibe from anywhere else in Asia, in my opinion. It really just has the food, it has the flair and the character and the history, obviously. And, there's just so much to love about Vietnam. There's so many reasons why people come here. It's not just, you can't just point at one, but yeah, Hanoi has been great. I need to actually do more traveling around Vietnam, but I've been very fortunate to be here, very grateful that I've, met the people that I've met. And yeah, I'm trying to get you back over here to Asia, man. So hopefully you can make a trip at some point and get back over to Southeast Asia, man.
I definitely think about it every day, man. I think about Vietnam's awesome because compared to China, my first time there, when was that? I guess 2012. My first time there, you could really notice the pride in the people and how much pride they have in because I don't want to get political or whatever, but they did beat America in the war, and they have this confidence in them that I noticed in the street that you don't see a lot in Asian countries. So I have a lot of Vietnamese friends, and there's just something about them that they have this sense of pride, they have this sense of confidence, they walk around that 6'2" energy when most of them aren't 6'2",
No, man, they're the most resilient. They're the most resourceful. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, they fought off the French, they fought off the Japanese, the Chinese, and obviously the Americans. But No, man, they should walk around like that with your chest and their head held high because they're a passionate, very, very passionate, patriotic country, you know, and you can't take that away from them. You know, I think anyone would be foolish to try to invade Vietnam again. It would be a very foolish move.
Yeah, because they definitely have experience. So tell us what you're doing in like
Yeah.
what's your now your plan of with like MLM, right? Multi-level marketing.
That's one way to call it. I work with a direct selling company. It's affiliate marketing. You sell a product, you make a commission. MLM is kind of the dirty, scammy way to put it. So I don't really like using that word because it has a bad reputation attached to it. I mean, MLMs are not illegal. Pyramid schemes are illegal. That's the kind of big difference that people tend to blend them together for whatever reason with whatever experience that they've had, unfortunately. But no, the company that I work with is a Japanese company. It's a direct selling company. And I work with this company and, it's pretty simple, but basically I introduce people to the world of social media marketing and affiliate marketing and how to earn an income online, how to sell products online. That's what I teach people how to do in a nutshell.
So how because I love this world with social media and like I actually haven't gotten into affiliate marketing, so I don't know much about it, but it makes sense. Like mine as well. Like there's so much like I guess in China it was like affiliate marketing for like bars and restaurants, but like when it comes to products, I don't know much.
Right.
And I don't think like we both lived overseas, so like you still are. And I don't think a lot of people realize the like opportunity there is for actually making money off your laptop, living in a different country and still making money and still like have a good living. So what would you say to people who like are unaware of it and like for as an introduction?
Well, I would tell people to keep their mind open. I would tell people to don't be afraid to ask someone if you see an advertisement pop up on social media, whether that's on your Instagram, whether it's on your Facebook or even on YouTube. I mean, there's so many different platforms, obviously, but just don't be afraid to click on something and try to get to a real person. I mean, the one thing I do when someone clicks on my advertisement and they want to learn more is I almost immediately send them voice messages to let them know that I'm not a robot. I am a human. I'm a real person just like you. Maybe we're both expats. Maybe this person's in Canada or wherever they're from. And again, it's working online and exploring different, I mean, like you said, there's so many different opportunities, but it's potentially for everybody because everybody wants to have another stream of income. Everybody wants that freedom lifestyle. Everybody wants to kind of expand themselves and potentially retire a little bit earlier, retire their parents, everyone has different goals and dreams, but they need to, again, just keep an open mind and realize that there's a lot of different avenues out there, whether it's affiliate marketing, like you said, whether it's some sort of ambassador, whether it is some sort of, like I said, affiliate links or blogging or whatever the case is. There's so many different things out there that are available, and people just need to give the other person a little bit of time of day and when they're explaining what they do, and don't just immediately jump to, oh, it's a scam, or, oh, this is not real, or, oh, I can't do what you do, or, oh, you didn't actually make 10K last month, or whatever the case is. They just jump to these conclusions and they make these assumptions. And usually they're very, very negative. And it's like, and again, to be fair, like there are a load of things online that are complete junk, that are just complete bullshit. And it is what it is, and I just try to separate myself from those people as far as, again, being personable, sharing my story, letting them know right off the bat, look, man, my name's Vincent. This is who I am. You're hearing my voice. Let's hop on a call. Let's discuss some things. Let's get to know each other, because I work in a relationship business, and a business that's based on, I want to attract people who I want to work with, who actually want to work with me. I don't want to just sell to someone and then never see them again or never work with them. I want to work with people who have kind of same ambitions as me and who I'm going to be building a business with together, So anyway, long story short, for people out there, just keep an open mind and hear someone out, and just, always keep your eyes open, because you never know what you're going to find.
No, it's a good point. I think I don't want to say the problem, but like the roadblock or the negativity, I think it comes from, it's like new to them, right? It's a big change. It's new to them. And like, they are going to be like, they know what, like, this is a bad idea. It's not safe for me. Like it's out of my realm. It's out of my universe. I don't know, and I think that's why a lot of people like jump to negativity first. Cause like, it's like, they don't know anything about it. So they get defensive. Does that make sense?
Right. No, it makes complete sense. Yeah. Well, again, when you meet people online, like we were taught years and years ago that, don't ever talk to a stranger. And then slowly it became to like, don't ever talk to online strangers. And that still has a bit of, value to it. But yeah, it's interesting. People, they have whatever thoughts they're going to have, but ultimately you have to kind of get out of that comfort zone. And if you're afraid to take risks, if you're afraid to do something different with your life, if you're afraid to kind of step out of that little bubble and box that maybe you live in, which is totally fine. But if you're afraid to do anything like that, then have at it. Enjoy what you're doing. If you're happy with your life, if you're happy with your job and your career and your family, that's incredible. I'm happy for you, but it's those people who are not happy, but they still complain and they still, call me or they're negative about everything, whatever the case is. And it's like, you need to be, if you want things to change, you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to step out and do something that you've never done before, whether it's online or offline.
No, it's intense because like the word change just scares people,
Really scares people. Yeah.
And I wonder like, and kind of what you were saying before about like, don't talk to strangers online. Now you can get into a car with a stranger and take you somewhere. Now you can rent a stranger's house for like a week, and no, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen. And like, so how have you coped with like, your business and with the like pandemic?
Man, great question. How have I coped with the business end from the pandemic? Yeah, that's incredible. It's been both great and also very, very frustrating, because, you're talking with people around the world who we're all in similar situations when it comes to whether it's some sort of self-isolation or quarantine, or we're working from home with our job, or we've lost our job, God forbid. And everyone is kind of going through a difficult time. And, that's awful. That's kind of the bad part about it. But at the same time, it has people looking for different opportunities. It has people looking for new ways to earn an income from home where they don't have to rely on an employer. They don't have to rely on a paycheck. They don't have to rely on time for money or whatever the case is. And it gives a lot of people time to explore different things. So it's been incredible, the conversations that I've had with people. At the same time, at the same token, a lot of people are just, again, it goes back to that negative vibe that they have, or they're frustrated, they're annoyed with their job, they're annoyed that they don't have work, they don't have any money coming in, and they're very closed-minded. They're looking for opportunities, but they don't understand that it's going to take some work. It's going to be different. It's going to be a completely new transition that they need to understand and accept and acknowledge that it's going to be hard. But if you want something to change and you want to make this, and you want to work from home, or you want to travel the world, or you want to spend more time with your family and do different things than you did pre-corona, you've got to do other things. You've got to explore some different things, and you've got to make changes. And again, some people, they're still like, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have money for that. It's like, man, what's your excuse now? Like you've got the time. Maybe you don't have the money, but hear me out, and I can give you kind of your personally tailored plan when it comes to how you can start a business, how you can control the investment, how you can kind of switch your money mindset, because I went through that. I know what it's like, so, and people think that it takes a lot of time to start a business, or it takes a lot of money to start a business. And it's really not the case. Again, there's all these preconceptions about working online and exploring different things. And obviously now people are, anxiety and depression kicks in, and a lot of people are just really struggling with being at home, and, they're all their families at home, and there's a lot of pressure. And again, that's where it kind of becomes difficult with some of the conversations that I have. And that's why I try to just be as personable and positive and optimistic as I can when I'm talking to different people. It's like, man, like, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to sell you something and slap you something in your face and really I'm not here to blast you with all this, with overwhelm you with information. Like, I genuinely want to help, but again, you've got to hear me out. You've got to give me some time, and you've got to just kind of slow down and realize that it is what it is. We're all dealing with this pandemic. So am I. Like we've all, and so are you. I mean, we've got to just kind of focus, stay present, and realize that it's just one step at a time, day to day,
No, yeah, for sure. And I was listening, I forget what the podcast was, but MFCO, motherfucking SEO. I don't know if you heard that one, but I think you'd like it. This guy's like, he's pretty tough, and
Okay.
he has no time for bullshit.
Okay, for sure.
So he's cool, but he had a good point.
Okay.
It's like now is the time where leaders come out, because like anyone can be a leader when nothing's going wrong, right? So like if you're like a manager or
Yeah.
high up in the company or business and everything's going smooth sailing and all, I'm making my salary, I'm meeting all the quotas, but when shit hits the fan, it's like, oh no, I don't know what to do. How do I handle this? And then like, you might even get someone lower in the ladder who's like, this is what, like, now like they step up, So what you're saying is like when
Right.
people are at home, they're not building new skills. They're not focusing on ways to improve. They're like watching every single thing on Netflix. And then they're like a week later, like, I have nothing to watch. There's nothing left on Netflix. And it's like, what? Like, what? Like, don't you have anything you want to learn or practice on, or like, and I don't know. To me, like for me, I was the total opposite. Like, and I'm no better than anyone else, but like, I learned a ton of stuff from online courses. I put a lot of more work into my working out. Focus on me, and it's interesting because like people don't want to challenge themselves. They don't want to push themselves. They don't want to change, and it's cool that you're saying that like, take that risk, because like if you don't take risks, how are you going to win? Like play it safe all the time. It's like I don't want to play it safe all the time. It's not going to be fun.
Man, I completely agree on all points, but yeah, back to your initial point, it was like, yeah, adversity builds character, and you really find out what you're really about when shit hits the fan, when you got to crawl through the mud, when you've got to get down and dirty and figure out what the hell's going on and what are you going to do? Are you going to make that change? Are you going to adapt? And it separates the people who truly do make something for themselves and people who stay back and they stay in the same situation and they play everything safe. And then those are the same people who are going to be complaining post-corona. They've had all this time to think. They've had all this time to work on themselves and develop and learn new skills, like you said, and they don't. They didn't. And then they're the ones who are going to be complaining when things are back to normal. Yeah. They're going to be the ones who are complaining that, oh my God, I hate Corona, or oh my God, we're back in the same situation. Or, again, I'm not going to point fingers. I'm a very positive guy, but I just know that there are going to be people who are going to. Again, it all comes down to mindset. It's all about mindset and just how you can shift the way that you just think about situations, think about how you handle things, and ultimately just staying right now. Right now I'm on a podcast with you. I'm not thinking about Corona. I'm not thinking about quarantine. I'm right now. I'm having a great time. I'm drinking some water. I'm talking with you, and that's it. This is right now. So people think about the past and the future, and it's like, fuck that. Stay right now. Like right now.
Like, how did you begin? Like, how did you decide? Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stay overseas, not go back to my hometown. What was the trigger point where it was like, nah, screw it, I'm staying overseas. Like, I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to challenge myself. What was the kicker that was like, I'm doing this? Like, where did the idea come from?
Man, great question. It really, I've had the travel bug since I was, early teenager, man. I knew pretty quickly that travel was something that I was in love with and that I just had to continue to do, to see new places, to eat new food, to speak different languages. I just knew. And when I came to Vietnam, I just, with China, I kind of knew that was kind of a 1-year rental project. I knew that I was 22, man. I was fresh faced out of university. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And it was great. It was an incredible experience, but I kind of knew it was going to get cut off at a year. But with Vietnam, like I was more mature. I was older. I knew what was going on. I'd done a bit more traveling, and I just fell into a groove here. I fell into, a crowd of people and just a good school, a good gig that I had teaching. And it's low cost of living out here. It's a great life, as you've seen down here and seen. And it's and why do I not go home? Is because I don't want to go back to what I was doing when I was 22 and 23 and 24. I don't want to go back to that bubble. I don't want to go back to that comfort zone and possibly living at home, which there's nothing wrong with that. I did that I did that between 23 and 26. I live with my mom, and I'm not bashing people who do, but I don't want to go back and do that. I don't want to go back and go to the same bars. I don't want to go back and talk to the same people about the same bullshit, about the same problems, about the, I can do that over Messenger and be happy and still be in my little bubble over here. But, and yeah, as far as business goes, it's like, I don't want to go off and off, but as far as like me wanting to stop teaching is just, it's extremely gratifying. I still teach full time. I teach adults now. I'm getting away from children, but ultimately I don't want to be stuck in a classroom. I don't want to be stuck in, four walls and be restricted and have kind of a week to week schedule and a certain amount of hours I have to fulfill. And I know that sounds really like I don't want to put in the work, because it's really the opposite. Like I'm putting in the work now to fund my business, and I'm putting in the work to fund my business and to work my business in order to stop working a time for money employer type of situation. And for me, it was like, man, what's the alternative? Do you want to teach the rest of your life? Do you want to be stuck in a career the rest of your life that I didn't really go to school for, I didn't study for? Do you want to be stuck with something, with a job that you don't really, that's really not something that you're passionate about? Is that what you want to be stuck in? And those are the questions that I was asking when I started to venture off into these new opportunities and venture into this new community of people who's been absolutely amazing. And it's like, man, you really get a whole different perspective when you surround yourself with different people. So that's the moral of the story is, if you surround yourself with the right people in the right circles, you're going to learn a lot and you're going to see a lot of different things. And it's really going to expand what is possible. And it's really just going to it's going to show you a whole other world, and it's a beautiful thing. It takes work, but ultimately it's worth it. I mean, I'll teach for the next 5 years if I know that in 5 years I'm going to be done and I'm going to live off of my business. I'll do that for sure. And I think a lot of people, they can't say that they're in a situation where they might be stuck somewhere for 20 or 30 years. And it's like, that's not what I want to do. That's just not my cup of tea. So
no, I love it because you have you're like, okay, I'll put in the work now. I'll put in the work now so I don't have to do it. I don't have to do the same work for 20, 30 years. You have a plan, you have a vision, you have, it sounds like you have a timeline, which is good. Cause you're going to break it down into small steps. Kind of go back to the community part. I've seen your videos with you're big, I guess Zoom chats now or whatever platform you guys use. And there's a bunch of people and you're always sharing the positive, suggestions, quotes, ideas that you get from the other people. So, and I totally agree with you. I kind of learned at a late age, it really depends who you hang out with. And you've seen our people that I hang out with. I know they're not, I love them, whatever, but I needed to be pushed more. I wasn't being pushed enough. And now that I'm, back in Ottawa, it's okay, I have a lot of people close to me who are okay, I need to be like them. I need to what did they do? How did they do it? And it's okay, I got to do this. I got to do that, because in China, it's I don't want to say it's more laid back, but you don't have the same pressure that you do here. So talk to me about the community that you met from scratch. Really, you didn't know anyone. And now it sounds like they're, partially friends, coaches, mentors. What would you say for that area?
Man, it's been nothing short of just kind of a complete 160 in the way that I think about things, the way that I handle adversity, like we talked about a little bit earlier, how I look at money, business, life, relationships, my job. Again, it really comes down to who you're listening to. And yeah, like you said, it's so important to kind of replicate and duplicate what other people do to get to success. I mean, I'm not reinventing the wheel with what I'm doing as far as affiliate marketing, social media marketing. I'm following other people and following the steps that I know works and following a tried and trusted system. But yeah, as far as community goes, man, I mean, I'm part of, there's now 2,000 of us, just over 2,000 of us. We're all over the world, man. There's a pretty heavy contingent in Asia, but the majority of my particular community, as far as the digital nomads that I work with and the online marketers and the affiliate marketers that I work with, majority of them are actually in Europe and, the UK in specific, but USA and Canada. But yeah, man, I mean, some of us are, again, most of us are teachers over here in Asia, but a lot of us are, we could be parents, we could be engineers, truck drivers, nurses, all walks of life. I mean, again, working online and doing what I do is for everybody. It's not, you don't have to have any sort of particular set of skills. You don't have to have any sort of experience. I provide people with a training platform and an entire support system when it comes to learning the basics and the technicalities. And again, like you said, that's where the community comes in. It's I give people the utmost respect. If someone has built a business on their own from scratch, they bootstrapped it, they built something from the ground up on their own solo. I will give that guy my ultimate respect, because I've seen how difficult it is now to, and again, it's like an online business. People think it's not work. It's like it's online, but it's like there's still quite a bit of work that goes into it. There's a lot of hours, and it's like, man, I don't think I could do it on my own. It's just the mindset, the understanding, the education. It's like you really need someone to be pushing you, and that's where like a coach comes in or a mentor, and having that person breathing down my neck in a good way, showing me the direction, the do's and the don'ts, the cans and the can'ts. Having that person mentoring and coaching me, who has the results, so it's really, really amazing, man, because the people just assume that there's a lot of that. It's hard to come by that, a community like that where everyone helps each other and we're all in it together. Yes, some people have earned $0, some people have earned $10,000, some people have earned $100,000, but we're in the same group of community, we're in the same tribe, we work with the same company, the same products, the same system that has worked has worked for someone who's earned 5 and 6 figures a month. Like, again, it goes back to like, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not coming up with things on my own. I work with people who have results, and it's amazing. It really is really cool. And yeah, like you said, I meet with these people every week digitally. So you do feel like, these are almost like they're brothers and sisters. They're new friends, and I went actually to an event last year in Barcelona, and I met about 500 of them in real time. And that was it was phenomenal, because again, it was like you actually rubbed shoulders with all these people who I'd only met online, and I actually met them in real time, and it was amazing. And it's just, I don't know. And again, it was all because I stopped at a Facebook ad a year and a half ago and looking into, hey, what is all this about online business? It was a teacher like myself. She was in China actually, and she put out an ad that was basically written for me. And she's now a girl who I still keep in touch with. She's still my mentor. We still work with each other. I just saw her a couple hours ago online. And, if you just stay at it and you, again, it all goes to kind of having an open mind and kind of just keeping your eyes open, because you never know what you're going to find,
So what would you say are like the top 3 suggestions, points, ideas that you've embraced through your time with the community? Like from other people, like what would be like 3 things that stand out, whether it's a principle or a routine or a motivational thing, like an action? Like what would you say were the top 3 that like you really like, what, that was deep, that was touching, that was motivating, or something like that?
Yeah. Well, all 3, if I were to say, the 3 biggest things that I've learned, they probably all revolve around personal development. And that's something that I didn't really understand a year and a half ago. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what self-care was, or self-help, or even asking for help. I just didn't know. I didn't know what personal development was. I just didn't. A lot of people probably don't. They just probably think that, oh, I'm all right. I'm good. I know everything. I know what's going on. I know how to run it, and they don't seek out other mentors. They don't seek out other people who have the results. But so, yeah, 3 of the biggest things, man. Number 1 has got to be gratitude. Is just realizing how grateful, how lucky, how rich, how wealthy, how thankful that I am for everything that I have in my life. That's got to be number 1, is gratitude. And it's an easy thing to overlook. It's an easy thing to skip over when you're talking about your life and what you know and it's really, but it's got to be your base, because gratitude kind of spearheads and kind of is the foundation for everything else, when it comes to how you accept things, how you move in life. Is just all about gratitude and just realizing where you come from and how much you have, So gratitude's got to be number 1, man. Number 2, the biggest thing is probably just taking action. And I know that sounds kind of cliche, or it sounds kind of simple, but the biggest thing that I've learned over the last year is just like, when you set out to do something, when you say you're going to do something, just do it. Take the action. Like, I was actually very, very tempted to not go live right now on my Instagram, because I'd never done it before. I was a little bit nervous about it. I don't know who's going to watch or not watch, or even care or not care. And you know what? I finally was just like, and because of kind of this mindset shift that I've had over the last year and a half, I just thought, you know what? Fuck it. Click, just go live. Like, why not? And that's just taking action. And ultimately, you just have to just jump. You just got to take that plunge and just take that leap and just do it. You know, whether it's asking a girl out, whether it's eating at a new restaurant, whether it's opening a business, whether it's taking that course at school that you never thought you could take, or whether it's whatever the hell it is, man, opening up a restaurant. Like just take action and just take the steps to figure out how to do it and then go for it, you know? And number three, man, I mean, one of the biggest takeaways and things that I've learned is just marketing and advertising. You know, how to learning a high income skill set, like you're in the business of, and like you're in the process of doing as well. So yeah, that's been probably my third biggest thing is just the education, you know.
People don't actually realize I love the action is like, that's the game changer. And like, that's why Nike's just do it is like, it's so powerful. No, because when I was studying, what do you call it? TESOL, before I went to China, that's what they were saying. Is just do it, you know, just go, just do it. And if I never did that, you know, I wouldn't have met friends from all over the world. So now, like, if I ever went to Vietnam, I can meet up with you. If I ever went to Australia, I can meet up with Australian friends. If I ever went to America, I have so many friends in America now, different friends in Canada, friends in Europe. So I have friends almost everywhere in the world now. Wouldn't have learned a new language. Wouldn't have had the opportunity to travel around China, you know, travel within China, you know, start a hockey thing with Will, like, you know, and that's still going. They're still playing without us, you know, and
man,
I know, right?
And man, that's wild because I mean, I saw a couple of your practices and maybe even a game or two, and it's like, man, I was just thinking, like, man, this dude's from Canada, he's from Ottawa, like. I lived with this dude, like he's a teacher, and like look at the things that he's doing. It's like, yeah, going abroad and becoming an expat and kind of properly sinking your teeth and really planting your flag, whether you're an expat in South America or Spain or Istanbul, Dubai, wherever the hell it is in the world. Like there's so many amazing things that can come from just stepping out and just doing it, just taking that course, taking that leap. Take that one-way ticket to Tokyo and figure it out when you get there, you know, just because and 8 years later, man, look at what you've got on your resume. It's just, and that still blows me away. The fact that you did that hockey club and the hockey league, it's like, and that they're still carrying it on. It's like, that's a true testament to you. The fact that league is still going, it's still strong. Despite a pandemic, you still got Chinese and probably expats as well that are still pushing that movement and they're still passionate, man. That's a testament to you and Will, man. So good on you, man. That's fucking incredible.
Thanks, man.
Seriously.
You know, it's cool to see it. It's like sometimes it's tough to. No, I'm happy for them, but like, you know, it's cool, and props to Rick to keep it going. So kind of the more.
Well, of course, you want to be there, but yeah, I mean,
it's all good. Let's get more into the mindset because like I've changed my mindset completely the past little while, and I think we're talking about recently, like, you know, and I just don't have time for like soft voices, we'll call it. Like it's got to be stay hard, like hard voices. You know what I mean? And like, you know, you listen to all these guys like Robbins and like Jacko, anyways, all these guys, and just so tough, you know. And like you said, like that's why I love taking action. Like if I never took action, like I wouldn't have started the hockey thing. Like if I never took action, I wouldn't like be here doing a podcast with you, like learning new Adobe skills, learning new Canva skills, learning like different ways to ask people questions and like network. And I know I've had so many, like from people that I've never met doing podcasts with, I've had so many great post podcast experience with them. Like they would recommend someone else. So like, what drives you? Like, what is pushing you to like, you know, because you're constantly working. Like, you're not like, it doesn't seem like you're taking any days off. Like you're always posting content. You're trying to push positivity. You're trying to make the world a better place through your words and your experience. So like, what drives you? What's your, you know, what's the why?
Man, I mean, that's a big question, man. It's a bit of a, I mean, yeah, to veer from mindset transformation. I mean, it's like, yeah, you just start to, I mean, my why is wanting to, long story short, man, I've got two gray mothers, and they're both 89 and 92, and they are on their last legs, and I'm not able to go back except maybe once a year. And obviously something like Corona has thrown a monkey wrench at that plan this year, which I'm a bit concerned about because both of them are getting up there. And as we get older and we start to kind of, and everyone gets older, you know, you just start to realize what's important and who you want to be with and who you want to spend time with. And it's got to just be that location freedom for me. The grandmothers, that's the base of it. That's the root of it. And the fact that they're both in two different continents does not make it any easier for me. So having something that is a sustainable global online business that can provide me with an income, whether I'm here, whether I'm in Ireland, where my one grandmother is, or whether I'm in my hometown in Arkansas, where the second one is. If I can continue to run a business and help other people start businesses from those locations, along with being a big now, that's the goal. That's what I want to do. And then, but yeah, the location freedom, man, with money's going to come, and money's not something that drives me. Now, obviously, I love money. Who doesn't love money? And I think that money can do a lot of incredible things. I'm not one of those people that says money is evil, but it's not something that I'm like, oh my God, I have to make $10K a month, or I have to make $1,000 a month. Money's great, but if that's what drives you, then, you're really going to be lacking something when you do hit that money goal, because it's not going to provide you with the amount of substance and satisfaction you probably think it will. But I'm not going to get into that. But I just feel like for me, it's just being able to pick up and pack a bag and go somewhere for a week, or go live in Tokyo for a month, or go to Dubai for a week, or go sit on the beach and not do fuck all for a week. That's my why, being able to do that and having the ability and the freedom to do that. And there's many, many people that I work with that do have that freedom. And those are the people who I'm following. And it's very, very possible. And I just want to kind of give a pitch, like, look, people think like, oh, that's just not attainable. It's not doable. That's the mindset. It's like, when you immediately think that, then you know what, man, whatever you're thinking right now, you're right. If you think that 2 + 2 is 5, you're right. If you think that you can't work online, you can't work online. If you think that you can't play hockey, you can't play hockey. If you think, again, the list goes on, but it's like, I'm here to tell you that it is very, very possible. It comes down to your work ethic, your why, like you mentioned, and your mindset, ultimately why you're doing what you're doing and what steps and what you're learning to get there, because it's not going to happen overnight. What I do is not an overnight get rich quick. It's not a money printing, trading, crypto, nothing against that, but it's not anything where you literally click a couple of buttons and there's going to be money in your account next week. That's not what I work with. But, it's going to take time and it's going to take effort, but you're also putting in time and effort for an employer that you probably dislike. So which one would you rather do?
No, you're totally right. Cause yeah, like everyone's replaceable. And like, I know people who like, and we've heard of stories, especially with pandemic, like they work in a place for X amount of years and then it's like, nope, out, sorry. And it's like, just like that, and like people had plans here for like 5-10 years. So now it's like, no opportunities. One thing I want to say is when you tell people about like, you can live off a laptop in different parts of the world whenever you want, and they're like, that's impossible. Just go read the 4-Hour Work Week. Right?
Yeah, man, definitely. That'll give you a lot of insight into how it's done, as far as the technicalities and the back end and a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. That it's like, yeah, this is very, very doable. Does it take work? Yes. Does it take determination? Yes. Does it take long nights in the beginning? Yes. But what the hell doesn't? It's like, but yeah, go read the 4-Hour Work Week.
No, because it's like, if it was easy, everyone can do it. And like, that was a big mindset that I had when I was in China. It's like, if it's easy, then everyone can do it, but not everyone can do it, and some people need to be pushed. Some people need to be told what to do. And some people just need to be shown that it's doable. And then it's like, okay, if Frank can do it, I can do it, One thing I wanted to ask you was,
yeah,
because like you kind of like, you were a reason or a percentage of why like I changed my outlook on negativity. So like, how do you deal with like negativity, like when it comes towards you, and like how do you like let it go and just like remain positive? Especially like I don't want to talk about like negativity towards the pandemic. I mean, just like overall negativity, like I'm having a bad day, or I'm having a bad day with business, or I'm just not feeling it today, or like maybe people online are being negative towards you. So like, what is your approach and method to like, okay, like, I'm like, for me, it's just like 1 second I think about it, then it's gone. So like, what about for you?
Yeah, and that's an incredible way to do it. And it's easier said than done, just having it, you just let go of it. And yeah, that's a great approach, is just, if think about it for a second, or not even for a second, and then you just got to let it flow, But I mean, yeah, man, as an entrepreneur, like, well, there's a reason why like 90% or 95% of entrepreneurs fail or just don't. They just quit or they just give up, is because mainly because, yeah, the negativity and the mind blocks and the circumstances that they're in, the people that they're listening to. And that's, I don't want to really dive into that, but again, we talk about, your network is your net worth, and, you got to be careful who's in your circle. But when you start to listen to the wrong people, it doesn't take very long for you to immediately things seep into your head. And it's like, yeah, I'm done. Negativity comes in, I'm done. And yeah, well, the biggest thing for me, man, is, yeah, like I listen to a couple of different one podcast in particular. It's called the Power On Audio Club. And it's actually a guy from Vancouver, a Canadian guy who lives in Thailand, and he's a clinical hypnotherapist. And he now has a podcast, and he's all about self-love. He's all about forgiving yourself, and he's all about, his limiting beliefs and how to block them and how to remain positive, how to let go, how to love, how to forgive, how to move on, and how to really push yourself towards becoming the best entrepreneur that you can be. So yeah, podcasts help. Meditation, man, I've done a lot of meditation recently. A bit of breath work, trying my best and really kind of trying to get to that point of no thoughts and trying to get to that point of, you're not going to fully block out negativity, because we're all human and things are going to get shot at us and get said to us that are going to hurt, but it's just about ultimately just letting it, not letting it get under your skin and not dumbing down to other people and not going down to other people's level when it comes to negative comments, because ultimately negativity coming from someone they're coming from a negative place. They're the ones who need help. They're the ones who are struggling. They're the ones who are probably very, very self-conscious, who have very low self-esteem. They're the ones who ultimately need help. And I have to almost feel sorry for someone who comes at me, if they come at me negatively about whatever my content is or business or whatever, even if it's just someone on a bike who yells something at me. It's like, man, you're dumping your garbage on me. It's like, man, what's going on in your life that has you feeling like this? Because I'm fine. And I mean, but yeah, you gotta let it go. You gotta let things flow, because we've got 70,000 thoughts go through our head every day. They're not all going to be positive. You're going to have thoughts that seep in, and you got to just let them flow. You've got to meditation and just sitting in silence. And there's a lot of different things, man, but you got to have the right people that you're listening to, and just have the right people in your corner who are going to keep you positive, who are going to lift you up when you are down, because there are going to be days where you're down, that's just part of the process. It's part of the game. It's part of the journey. And you just got to bounce back, and you got to remember your why. That's another big thing. So.
No, I love it, because there's always, I don't get it. Like, I don't know why. And like, there's just, I don't know why are so many people in a bad spot, and like, I have a bunch of ideas of why people in a bad spot, and like, and then I don't want to get into it either, but like a lot of people are just so like, negative, closed-minded, short-sighted, very scary, because like, I would say there's more people like that than positive, and if everyone was positive, there's just so much trash and so many reasons to make people negative, and like, let's look at Instagram, like, Instagram's a highlight reel, right? It's all like, look at me, look where I am, look what I'm doing, look what I mean, look at the expensive stuff that I have. And then people are just looking at it, and it's like, I don't have this, I can't have this, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, why are you still on Instagram? Like, and no, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just like, I try, and I'm really big against is the consumer mindset, and like, and kind of combining the consumer mindset with employee mindsets. Like, you work all day, you go home, you become a consumer, you order the fast food franchise, and then you do it 5 days a week. And then the weekend comes, you get annihilated. That 1 day a week, you get annihilated. Then Sunday comes, and it's like, oh, week's starting next week. And it's like, that's it. That's what it is for a lot of people. And like I was telling you earlier, like, this is my third week of not drinking. And like, I've noticed, and then people have asked me, like, what have you noticed differently? Honestly, I've noticed other people bringing it up. Like, I couldn't do that. I can't ever do that. How can you not drink in August? Like, August is the month to drink. And I'm like, I did a podcast with a guy, and he actually, good point. He was a nutritionist, and he actually had a good point. It's like, August has the longest days, right? So do you want to waste your longest days being hungover? And I was like, no, it's true. Because I get up early, I go for a walk, I meditate now. I started meditating. Like, I see the value of that. And like, I'm feeling good, and it's like, it's a Monday, and I'm like, I see people posting on Instagram, like, Monday, the cat with the coffee. And like, I don't know, man. It's just, and I like, yeah, you definitely you definitely had a big influence on like, change. Like for me, like, I didn't think much of it either. And then like, I don't know, it just caught on eventually. So I think I think it's cool that we both like are at a place where it's like, let's get it, let's work hard, let's put in the work, let's figure it out, So no, it's cool.
And yeah, man, you hit it. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. Like, and it's no wonder people feel like shit. It's like they're not doing themselves any favors, But yeah, you ultimately have to, and sometimes it takes something drastic. And for you, it sounded like, I mean, yeah, you're listening to the right, you're following the right people on social media, you're making moves, and you're taking action. But it sounds like maybe it also has something to do with you changing your environment and having that drastic change, moving back to Canada. Like you then saw like, holy shit, like here's some of my same friends. It's like you could have been in a time machine from 8 years prior when you left Canada. It's like the same friends, possibly in the same jobs, talking about the same shit. And it's like that's great for a couple of weeks when you go home for Christmas. But then you realize that, okay, I'm going to be in auto for a while. And it's like, is this the type of, and you mentioned, and reprogramming for me is like a big word because like your subconscious and your conscious, man, is something that I've really started to learn about recently. And you were talking about why people have these different thoughts and why they get down these rabbit holes and why they are so negative and come at you in certain ways. It's like because of these reprogramming, because of these programmed thoughts that they've had ingrained in them over the years, whether it's from bad friends, whether it's from an unstable household, whether it's from a blood-sucking job or an employer who's killing you or a bad relationship. It's like people, a lot of times they're not choosing their situations. They're just, they're attracting certain things that's negative, that's draining them. And it's like, it's no wonder they just fall in these traps. And again, that's where the mindset comes in, is like how to get yourself out of these and how to get yourself to realize that, yeah, the grass is a little bit greener if you just make some changes and start to realize that it's very, very possible. And when it comes to like being an entrepreneur and doing something completely different, it's like, do you want to put in some work for 3 to 5 years, or do you want to put in some work for 30 to 40 years to really see a massive, massive benefit and really possibly see the life of your dreams? For some people, the life of their dreams is when they retire, when they don't have to work anymore. Fuck that. Like, get into the mindset where you can really bust your ass at something and disconnect yourself from people who are not doing certain things. But it's like, find a tribe, find an outlet, find a portal that can transform you. Because when you start to fall in, you can really, really, it becomes really dangerous. But on the flip side of it, if you start to fall into circles that are super positive, super ambitious, super go-getters, then you can skyrocket, man. And you can completely, well, like yourself, man, you've obviously you're not listening to the same people. You're not hanging out with the same people. And you're kind of in your own little tunnel vision, and it's so easy to take a drink, but it's like, it's also really easy to say no and to just stay sober for October or for August, so.
No, it's definitely not easy. Actually, yesterday was like, oh man, I'm at a nice place. I really want to drink. No, but I did it, so it's all good. Yeah, we'll end up with a couple more questions, then we'll head off, and because I know it's late for you. How have you changed from like from the beginning to now? Like, and I don't mean like stuff that you've learned. Like, how have you changed? Like, what are some things that you just will never do again that you learned was like that was a bad idea? Let's more on the business side, like not like on the emotion, or it could be emotional, but not like mindset wise. Just like whether it's like you know contact this person first, or do this thing first for my content, or do this first in the first step of my assignment. Like what are things that you've learned that like people would make mistakes early on the business side?
Man, that's an incredible question. And the biggest lesson that I can tell someone who wants to get into entrepreneurship and social media marketing in particular is just don't get out of your own way, because a lot of times we hold ourselves back. It might not even be a family member or a friend. It's ourselves, and put out that piece of content. It could be full of errors. It could be rubbish, but put it out. because you're human and you just put it out, take the action. And that's the biggest probably thing that I've learned. And again, I know that I've said it before, but I'll say it again, is it goes for so many different things. Is like, when you're starting out, just say yes to an opportunity. Say yes to a 14-day trial. Say yes to a 1 month free for this particular course or whatever. Say yes to it and then figure it out along the way, because you're never going to know everything going in. You're never going to have all the facts. You're never going to be 100%, but just say yes, ask your questions later, figure it out, and then figure out, okay, is this going to be right for me? But another big thing, so that's just take action, say yes, put out the content. Don't be afraid to just put shit out, The second thing would probably be, here's a big one, man, is don't listen to people who don't have the results that you want. And I guess that goes back to like your network and your circle of friends, but that's just such a critical thing, man, is like, don't let someone who is still in your hometown, not doing shit with their life, don't let them tell you something that's going to veer you and take you off track. Like, don't let them tell you that you can't do it, and stay focused on you. Listen to people who have the results that you want. Listen to people who have done it. Listen to people who run a business. Listen to people who have quit their job or who are working as a teacher and an entrepreneur. Like, listen to those people who are doing what you want to do and that has the training. Like, just, and I guess this is the big one, is just educate yourself, because I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about advertising. I had zero business experience, and it's just, you've got to start from somewhere. And I mean, the biggest thing I would tell a new person coming into this industry or coming into a business is just be willing to start from zero. Be willing to be a student. Be willing to put in hours of a lot of work without getting paid, without really seeing a lot of financial results, but be willing to put in work, because ultimately that's what is going to separate you from most people, is that you're just not willing to put in the work. They don't want to put in those 10-hour days or those late nights on the phone or those late night video calls or whatever. But just, and again, I'm sorry I'm not really getting into particular business changes, but lessons, but yeah, find something that works. Find a business model that works. Find a mentor, find a coach who's going to really work with you, who's going to hold your hand, because it can be a really, really daunting task. And it's super intimidating, man. Like, starting a business, doing anything online or anything business-wise, online or offline. It's fucking hard, man. So find someone who's going to push you, who's going to mentor you, who's going to show you the ropes. Because I mean, even like yourself, man, you were basically a mentor to me when I first went to Hangzhou. And I don't know if I would have made it and really kind of figured out life there if it hadn't have been for you being in my ear and like telling me like the ins and outs, and like, yeah, we're going here, we're not going there. Yeah, man, do this, don't do that. Or, it's like, and it was really, and that's what I would tell people who are looking to come teach in Asia, is like, be open to finding new friends and new relationships, and talking to that stranger at school, like talking to that stranger on the bus, maybe who looks like he speaks English, or even if he doesn't speak, it's like, just be open. And that's, I know that's super broad, but it goes for business as well. It's like, man, you just never know what you're going to find, and you never know what company or what product or what, because man, I've also, not only have I found a business and structure and system and community, but I've found a product that I've really, really fallen in love with. And it's like, man, that makes it so much easier when I speak to people. It's like, yeah, I can offer you a business opportunity that might sound shady, but guess what? I can then show you the product that we work with, which then cancels out all of the shadiness, all of the bullshit scam or these accusations that they make. It's like, look, man, I work with real people. I work with a real product. If this is what you want to get involved in, then let's have a talk. But it's like, man, it's something that I can really be passionate about, and I've really kind of found my niche. And that's another thing. It's kind of just figure out what you want. Figure out, and again, I know I'm going a little bit further, but just kind of figure out who you are and what you want to do. If you want to work in ocean wildlife and saving the oceans, do that. If you want to work with volunteer teacher and then helping women become teachers in underprivileged neighborhoods, do that. If you want to coach basketball for kids, do that. Like, just follow what you want and follow your passion, and it'll all work itself out as far as just everything after that,
Maybe someone might need it to hear one of those sentences. So it's all good. Yeah. We'll finish off.
Yeah, man, I hope so.
What would be your like biggest takeaway from today? Like what would be like the biggest one for people, and like people who are looking to get into entrepreneurship, people in like a negative mindset, people who are looking to take action? What would be like your final word?
Well, man, I mean, I've already kind of touched on it a little bit. Is just kind of, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to get on a phone call with an online stranger. Don't be afraid to just watch a webinar, watch a course, watch an introduction video into something that you have no idea about, because you just never know what it could lead to. You never know who's going to be on the other end of that phone, and don't underestimate what your value is either. Like, don't underestimate what skills that you potentially have, because a lot of people, I didn't think I could work online. I didn't think I could run my own business. I had a lot of limiting beliefs that held me back for a long time. And that can actually hold people back from even taking the action to begin with. And don't sell yourself short. A lot of us, we all are good at something. We all have special talents. We all are capable of a lot of different things. So just remember to just always kind of believe in yourself, and whatever you're getting into, again, whether it's a coffee shop, whether it's building a business, whether it's becoming a teacher, whatever it is, becoming an athlete, just believe in yourself, and just go full out, go all in, because it becomes really, really fun when you kind of, get out of that comfort zone and get out of that bubble and out of that box. It becomes, life really, really happens, and it's really fun, man. And it's not only over here in Asia, it's anywhere. You really grow, and you really kind of create something that a lot of people just, they don't know about, and you don't know what you don't know. So yeah, man, just kind of don't sell yourself short. Don't be afraid to just take the plunge and just do it.
I know. I like what you're saying, because everything, if people do like take this advice and like, don't be afraid, just do it, take action, their life will change. And like, they will not be the same person, after these steps. Let's say there's 5 different steps. If they take, they'll be in a different direction, a new path, new network, new ideas. And I think that's what it's all about. So yeah, man, I want to thank you for, taking the time. I know it's late for you over in Hanoi, and I'm just thinking about Vietnamese food. Just joking. So yeah, man, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. It's great talking to you, and we'll be in touch. Where can people find more about you and your business online? So
my Instagram handle is a Nomad in Nam, which is all lowercase, all together, a Nomad, MANOMADINNAM, a Nomad in Nam. And yeah, man, I've got a business. Once you go on there, you can really see what I'm about. You can check out some of my highlights. Probably check out my story. You can obviously send me a private message. I'm more than happy to, send you voice messages and let you know that I am real. But yeah, I've got a business page and a personal Facebook page. My name is Vincent Reed, REED. First name is Vincent, VINCENT. So yeah, I've got a personal page. I've got a business page. You can go on there and check out some of my content. Again, feel free to reach out. Don't be afraid to send a message. I'm more than happy to get on a phone call and discuss anything and everything, man, about life in Asia, about entrepreneurship, about Frank, about anything. We can talk about anything. So yeah, man, I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for having me on, man. And you're doing some great things, and I'm happy to remain connected, man. It's a small world, and I just hope that I can, you really introduced me to China, and I hope that you can come over here and I can kind of reintroduce you to Vietnam. So
yeah, one day, man, for sure. Well, perfect, man. Yeah, wish you the best, and wish you your business the best, and just keep going, man. We'll definitely see what happens in the near future.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, Frank. I appreciate it. And thank everyone for listening and for coming on. And yeah, keep on following Frank. He's got a lot of good stuff. And yeah, I would appreciate it if you follow me, but I'm not. He's got a lot bigger fish to fry. So yeah, man, but amazing to be here. So thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Much love. Cheers.
I do. Cheers, man.
Figure It Out Podcast. Living that marketing life. Fuel marketing through education, inspiration, and motivation. Thank you for listening. If you like this episode or any other episodes, suggest it to someone who may enjoy it as well.